right, welcome to the Scottish Creek Bed.
Hi, I'm Ryan Young.
I'm Jim Zarowski. Everybody calls me Jimmy Z. We'll go over some key points of creek section riding. One is to obviously be centered on the bike. You want a wide stance on the foot pegs, not next to the frame, because the frame is going to be moving around more than ever. And if you're tight against the frame, once it moves, it just throws your hips off balance, and then you start your dabbing, and you lose your momentum, and everything goes off.
So the bike moves underneath it.
So wide stance on the pegs. I want to see some space between your boot and the frame. Also, you want to keep your feet pointed forward. A lot of people, the farther they go up the creek, they just start pigeon toeing like this, and next thing you know, their heels are against the swing arm, and they've just lost a good stance position by doing that.
And the toes hit all the rocks and it runs off the foot peg.
Okay, the next thing is, you don't really want to steer too much in a creek section, because every time you turn the handlebars, you're very vulnerable to the angles of all the faces of the rocks, and they'll just take the front wheel and you're offline and you're just going everywhere where you don't want to go. So you might say, well, Jim, how the heck am I supposed to steer this motorcycle? Well, I can tell you this, if you look a certain place, the bike just goes there, and it goes there because you're leaning it, and that's what we want to try to do in this creek section, is lean the bike. If you lean it, you just barely have to turn the handlebars, and it will turn and go there. So that's the second point, is to lean the bike to turn, not turn the handlebars.
If you turn the handlebars, it doesn't roll over the rocks. If you lean the bike and barely turn the handlebars, it still rolls over all the rocks. You never get this in the creek. If you turn it, you'll get that. If you don't turn it, it keeps rolling.
The third point is, and this is the one that I struggle with the most, is look ahead. If you're looking right in front of your wheels in a creek section like this, it's not going to be very long where you're dabbing all over the place. You just have to let your God-given talents of riding these bikes, just let them work and know that you can ride what you just looked at, and look ahead, look farther ahead.
If you keep the momentum up...
You're in trouble, Clark.
I got some things. Yeah, you have to put it that way. If you keep the momentum rolling, like you said, let the bike do the work. These suspensions and tires are awesome. Even a Reflex I rode for a mile before I ever dabbed. Because you just stay loose and don't turn. You just keep it rolling, and the thing's just rolling over everything underneath you. And all you're trying to do is not lose your balance and not dab. And looking ahead so you don't get into the huge hole. If you just look in front of you, all of a sudden look up, there's a 2-foot ledge and I want to go to the left of it. So now you're full lock turning and you're in trouble. So if you look ahead, you can just keep the bike leaning and never turning, and just hit the little V's or the cracks or the flats of rocks. Okay?
I'm so bad at not looking ahead that I actually whisper to myself while I'm riding. Look ahead, you idiot, look ahead. You know, nobody needs to know you're doing that, but it works for me sometimes.
You want to keep the speed up in sections like this. You don't want to ever stop for sure, and the slower you go, the harder it is to keep that straight smooth line going. If you go slow, you end up just going all over the place like this. You pick up the speed, it straightens it out and smooths it out.
There's some other key points that we'll talk about once we start walking this thing, but I did want to mention one other point. Every time we walk a section, we're looking for any loose sticks, rocks that are going to roll out from underneath your wheels and everything, and you're checking for what's going to stay put and what's not. In a Rocky Creek section that 100 riders are going to ride 3 laps or 4 laps, there's not a whole lot of point be spending too much time checking those rocks out, because they are going to rearrange themselves many times during the day. And if it's a long creek section, which is Scottish classic, is for it to be so long you don't want to walk it again. So when you're walking the section, which we're about ready to do, you can feel which ones you can trust and which ones are probably going to be dislodged. And past that, I wouldn't spend much time messing with them, because they're going to be different the next time you ride.
And like part of the challenge is, he's going to lay out a short section, but if you get 3 points, you know, you can exit. But if you're like on a clean or one, just go as far as you can. I would always pass the cabins on a clean, and then I stall the bike, like the end of front end on a big rock. So, like you said, if you mastered every rock here in 20 feet, you certainly can't memorize a quarter-mile creek section. So what's cool is when you get out of this area, now you have to rely on just natural ability and looking forward and reacting to what's coming up. You have to stay in the water, So you're like, oh, here comes, I see 3 ledges under the water, and you just lean back and gas it and carry the front wheel and let the rear wheel go boom, boom, boom 3 times. Then you might have a flat spot, you might have a little hole, lift up past the little hole, tire in the water, shut off, and then there's a log up there. Halfway up there's a log, you're over the log, it's back in the water, you just hang on for dear life and reacting what's coming up at the spur of the moment. So you have to keep the front wheel light and the weight back. So you don't drive the front tire in these holes. Stay back, keep the throttle on, little wheelies here and there, and just let the rear tire hit everything. It's like a pinball machine. The rear tire might be slipping and sliding, but you just don't stop. Slips, it slides, carry the front wheel, and just slide it all the way up the creek. Okay? We're in no hurry, Jim. Back here, because the front end needs to be light. Right here, I'll just carry it past this root. Let the rear tire hit it. Start to lean the bike, don't turn the steering. Stand back, stand back, stand back, stand back, stand back, stand back. I go a little wide here so my foot peg doesn't hit. What's called a foot peg? I put my front tire over here so my foot peg doesn't hit. Oh, I see a flat rock. Oh, into that. Look ahead. Oh, here comes the end of the rock. Trying to hit the V. Shut off so it doesn't slide down there. Right here. Very important to lean the bike. If you do pull left here, you're going to have a problem. I can't wait to ride this thing. Now on a status trial. Hey, no reason to run. Hey, I failed. Yeah, right? The status trial is near the sundown date, and the time plus damages and all this stuff. On a Scott trial, so not Scottish. Scott trials is a fast-paced trials and sections. Fastest man comes in has 0 points penalty. Anybody took longer than him has points. Anything, and the rear tires are sitting there right. If he cleans it over the log, he beats me. He's riding a little slower than you were, though. Well, he's not 6-time champ. Still a good guy. Does he clean the... Oh, he's up in the grass. Oh, he's up in some sort of grass.